So Emerald Imperium is taking a lot longer than I was expecting it to. So I'm gonna drop these little freestyles while I play that game, just to like vent pretty much, because a lot of shit's been frustrating me about the community, and not necessarily the Nuzlocke community, hardcore Nuzlocke community specifically, but more just like the Pokemon community more broadly. So I'm gonna be dropping these little freestyles to get my shit off. I don't know how long they're gonna be. I have nothing written down. It's just it's vibes based ranting. But you know, it's something to do, something to post just while I'm working on it. So what I want to talk about right now is the age-old rare candy debate. It's 2026, and we're still talking about rare candies and ROM hacks. This is like a early 2020s, late 20-teens thing to talk about. It's 2026, right? Obviously, to get my opinion out of the way right now, play the game how you want to play it. Nobody's forcing you to use rare candies. If you want to hack it, if you're playing on emulator, you want to hack in rare candies, go ahead. If you don't want to play with rare candies, go ahead. Nobody's stopping you, right? Just full stop. That's my opinion. But I want to get a little bit more in depth. I don't know if I'm going to put the tweet up, because I don't know if I can find the tweet, but follow me on Twitter, by the way. Let me pull up my Twitter, actually. I don't tweet much, but I feel like that's going to change soon. So I'll link my Twitter in the description so you guys can follow that. But here's the thing is I can't believe I'm actually like doing this, making this video, because this is such a stupid conversation. Here's the thing is okay, let me start out with the argument against rare candies. From what I've seen in my admittedly limited research is, one, it makes the game, well, the overall thing is it makes the game too easy. But one, you can get an entire box full of mons up to a certain level, which I don't know why that's a bad thing. Two, the game, it's not how the game was meant to be played and designed around, which we'll get to that. And three, it's actually bad because you don't get any EVs from rare candies. Now, EVs, for those of you who don't know, are hidden values that boost your Pokemon stats. Every Pokemon has EVs and every Pokemon gives EVs. There's an EV for each of the 6 stats in the game, and different Pokemon give different EVs when killed. And like Rattata, I believe, gives one attack EV. Some give 3 speed EVs, or 2 health EVs, or shit like that. There's, I believe, 508 in the game, like EVs to divvy up between all 6 of your stats. So you can go 252 in 2 stats and 4 in, no, it's 512, excuse me. 252 in 2 stats and I don't know the exact number, actually. I don't give a fuck enough to memorize that shit. I'm not playing VGC. But you can go 252 in 2 stats and 4 in a 3rd stat, and that's all your EVs. So whatever that rounds up to. That's finite. That's for every Pokemon in the game. So we're going to go one by one. First with you can get your Pokemon up. Keep in mind, this was in context of hardcore Nuzlocks and difficulty ROM hacks specifically, because all of this was resparked over Pokemon Null's first gym, which is Roxanne, being in the mid 30s. And like, it's not that crazy. Granted, whenever I saw it at first, I was like, holy shit, that's a high level for Gym 1. But like, so what, man? That's just part of the game. and it's not like they don't give you plenty of tools to compensate for that. Anyways, so firstly, in difficulty ROM hacks, or just hardcore Nuzlocke, really hard Nuzlocke in general, or I don't know about Nuzlocke in general. I've only really hardcore Nuzlocke, so I'm only gonna speak to my experience. In hardcore Nuzlocke, we have level caps. So level caps, for those of you who are unaware, are exactly what they sound like. A cap that your Pokemon's level cannot go over if you want to use them in this split. A split, for those of you who don't know, man, I'm doing a lot of explaining. A split is just from one boss fight to the next, right? So, one gym leader to the next, usually. So like, Lieutenant Surge to Erica. Lieutenant Surge is a split, right? Erica is a split. It's every battle from... So Lieutenant Surge's split is every battle, the first battle after Misty, down to Lieutenant Surge. Then the next split picks up to the battle right after Surge, which is Erica's split, and then so on and so forth, right? In these, we have level caps. So, soft or hard, doesn't matter, it's a level cap. Where, like, for Brock, the level cap is usually like 14 or 16. So, a soft level cap is, there's nothing stopping you going to 15, except you cannot use your Pokemon in that split. Because it's too high level, it's over level. Right? So, that's a soft level cap. A hard level cap is the game physically stops you at 14, let's say. And you cannot gain any more XP. So you will never over level. Right? Which is the main argument. Is either way, you will never over level. Because if you're over leveled, you can't use it. Or the game just physically stops you. And in difficulty ROM hacks specifically, where you're playing with a calculator, right? Because these teams are handcrafted. You need, even if it's just for the first gym, you need all 8 of your mons up to the level cap. So they're viable in planning, because you're playing with a fucking calculator, right? You're crafting lines meticulously with a calculator. In vanilla gameplay, I've never heard of anyone hacking in Candies in vanilla gameplay. I could be wrong. You know. I don't know of anyone who's played Fire Red for the first time on the emulator and said, yeah, I gotta hack in Candies, man. Like, I've literally never heard of anyone doing that shit ever. But again, I could be wrong. You know, I'm not the arbiter of what you can and can't do, or what hasn't happened on MGBA. Like, I'm not the fucking I'm not omniscient of what people do with their emulators on their computers in their homes that they have with their money. Like, but my point is, you need everything you can get during these planning phases. And grinding just takes too fucking long. Right? Point 2. I know the 3 points, but I don't know which order I said them in, so point 2 is going to be EVs. Right? Most of the time, difficulty ROM hacks just don't have EVs. At least modern difficulty ROM hacks don't have EVs. Or they have a patch with no EVs. So that way, there's literally officially no reason to not use your Candies. Right? Very quick point. The third point is that the game was not designed or balanced around it. It's not how the game is supposed to be played, guys. Obviously, they want you to get to the same level as the boss in vanilla games. That's why they put level 3 Caterpies in front of the level 14 gym. So you can sit there for 6 hours and grind the level 3 Caterpies until you hit level 14. Duh. No, that's not how the game is meant to be played either. The games are balanced around two facts, right? One, re-battling trainers through, I think the Fame Checker does this in the first 3 generations, and then the Versus Seeker does this, I know for sure, right? That is the main way you're supposed to be grinding, because the trainer Pokemon, like the NPC Pokemon, are higher level than the wild, so you get more XP from them. It's very simple. A equals A plus B, right? And you can battle them infinitely with the Versus Seeker, or I think the Fame Checker. The second thing the game's vanilla, I have to really hammer this home. Vanilla is the second thing that vanilla games are balanced around is your bag. In Hardcore Nuzlocke, you cannot use items in battle. It is your held item and your, prep that gets you through the battles. In vanilla, the game expects you to be using these items. It's rare, at least for me, it's rare for me to be on the same level as the opposing niggas. Like, if I'm walking into a gym, I'm not expecting to be on par with their level. My numbers are usually not the same as their numbers, but I have items I can use in battle. It's literally just, they cannot deal with my 30 potions and my 15 revives. Right? And that's what the game is balanced around. Because I can sit there, give my Pokemon 2x attacks, then a potion, 2x speeds, then a potion, and sweep through the entire team. Because I hit harder than they do, and I move before they do, and they cannot do anything about it. That is why their numbers are usually higher. But it doesn't matter, because they can only use healing items when their Pokemon are low, and they usually have 2. You can use any item whenever you want, and you have however many you got in your bag. That is the whole point of X items, is buffs in battle. It takes a turn, sure. Whoever damage you can take, you can just heal off with the potion. You cannot do this in Hardcore Nuzlocke because you can't use items in battle. Right? Like, I'm thinking about my Pokemon, my first time playing through Emerald. I spammed X items, and I mollywopped the entire game. Like, me and Swampert steamrolled the entire game with X items. I barely used anyone else on my team. But this conversation is just stupid, because we're not playing the same game, right? Difficulty, ROM hacks, and Hardcore Nuzlocking are different games than casual and vanilla. Like, the rules that you apply for yourself wouldn't work in, or I won't say wouldn't work. They would make the game so much more unfun that it's not even worth entertaining. But I mean, that's just how I feel, So yeah, I hope that was coherent and made any sort of sense. But that's all I got for today, man. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Comment down below what you guys think. And I'm gonna catch y'all, man. Be safe.